This is Module 6, Introduction to the Evaluation Essay. This essay is going to need the most explanation because it's the most different from the other papers. In the first two papers, the focus was on virtue and vice, on definitions and causes, and readings from the book could be referenced, but it was not necessary, and so that it was very much bound with the ideas that we've been discussing so far. In this third paper, we're going to be branching out in a very big way into media, and also are going to be dealing with a slightly different topic. So throughout this unit, we've been presented with various views on what constitutes a good society or a good leader. And using the insights that you've gained from reading Thucydides, Machiavelli, the Founding Fathers documents, and Martin Luther King Jr., your task is to compose a 3 to 5 page essay that evaluates a cinematic society or leader, arguing for that society or leader as either good or bad. You can choose which of the two that you want to argue for. A few other things to keep in mind. There are two things that should be vital components of this essay and that are absolutely necessary. Number one, your essay should reference at least one of the readings from this unit. In the first two papers, it was optional to reference the readings, but in this paper, it's required that at least one be referenced. You can do more than one, but there has to be at least one. Second thing is that your essay should present specific criteria on which you are basing your evaluation. What specific criteria means is that you don't need to be saying in your paper that the society presented in your post-apocalyptic film that you chose is bad because it's terrible. Okay, terrible is an evaluative word. It doesn't, we don't know, we the readers don't know what you mean by terrible. A much better thing to say would be that the post-apocalyptic society from your film is bad because it presents people who have appalling living conditions. It's characterized by violence, and also it is full of spies who are just waiting to tell on people so that the authorities can have them executed. Okay, those are specific criteria. So this is what is meant by specific criteria. You need to get detailed in why your particular society or leader is good or bad. This is one place where the unit readings can come in to the text. Your unit readings, like Martin Luther King, Machiavelli, those can be included as additional evidence if you want, or they can be support for why you chose the criteria that you chose, so that you might decide to write about letter from Birmingham jail in a particular film and use Martin Luther King's letter as the source from which you were pulling your ideas of what a good society is, and then take those particular criteria of a good society and then apply them to the text of the film to come up with your evaluation of that cinematic society. Some questions to consider as you were performing this task, and also when choosing your topic or your film. So think about this. One, what vision of a good society or a leader does this film depict? What are you actually seeing in the film? Does the society itself live up to that vision? Sometimes on film you might see a particular vision of a good society presented, but one of the bad things in the film is that vision itself is not lived up to. The characters in the film fail to stand up to their own standards or their own ideals, and that's interesting. That's something that can provide good fuel for your ideas for your paper. If a society in a film fails to live up to its own vision of a good society, why? Why does it fail? Is it merely in the execution, or is it because the view of a good society or the vision presented is itself flawed? So think about things like that. How is leadership presented in the film? And that question is going to be relevant whether you're talking about a good leader or the larger idea of a good society. Is leadership in the film presented positively or negatively? Depending on the film and the genre, sometimes a bad leader can be portrayed positively or negatively. So it's not always a given that a leader you think of as a bad leader is going to be treated by the film as if he or she is a bad leader. So think about all these things as you're moving forward. One very practical question you should consider is, what types of films can you pick? This is always a question people ask. For this paper, you may choose any film of any genre, or you may choose individual episodes of TV shows. That's also an option available to you. But do not write about a whole season of a TV series or a whole series like Friends or something like that. Mainly because you just can't do justice to a topic that big in what is really a very short paper. So in other words, just to get it really practical, writing about episode 16 of Parks and Recreation would be fine, but writing about the entire series would not be okay. Just the scale is all wrong for this length of paper. Assignment specifications for this paper, slightly different than the first two papers. For this essay, at least 2 sources, one of the readings from the class, from this unit, and your film of choice, those 2 sources are required, and they should be referenced. Again, even for the text referred to in the textbook. All sources should be cited in the text of the essay and listed at the end in a properly formatted works cited page. When you're quoting from your film, you need in-text citations. Even though there's not a page number you can give, you still need an in-text citation. For detailed instructions on how to cite films and TV episodes, if you've never done that, you can see the Purdue OWL site. They have great instructions there. Finally, as always, all papers should be written in proper MLA format with a heading, title, page numbers, and 1-inch margins using Times New Roman 12-point font, and it should be double-spaced, as always. So good luck writing this last paper. Hopefully it'll be an interesting departure from the first 2 papers in the sense that it gives you a chance to delve into some media that hopefully will produce some great ideas for your paper.